Start just by telling you a little bit about my personal story and how I got interested in redwoods. And it starts with the same way it did for a lot of you, I think, in my family history. My grandmother and grandfather bought a place up here in Mendocino back in the 1940s. And it's just up on the Comshu-Kaya Road there. Louis and Skilly Russell. And that 120 acres that they purchased became my playground as a kid. I grew up in LA, but every summer I was in Mendocino on this property. My grandfather died pretty young, and that property was then transferred by my grandmother to the state parks, and it's now part of the state park system. My grandfather passed away in Ukiah at the county courthouse, and he was involved in a protest against a timber harvest plan adjacent to his property there on Comshu-Kaya Road. He gave a speech against the directive of his doctor, who said his heart was too weak. He gave the speech and sat down, had a heart attack, and died right there. The timber harvest plan was stopped. It's good news. But at 10 years old, this made a big impression on me. After he passed away, the question of the family was, we can't afford this property anymore, because at the time there was what was called the standing timber tax, where you were taxed on the board feet value of the timber on your property. This property is about a third or a half of its old growth, and so it was an enormous tax. And so we had these discussions with our family. What are we going to do with this? We could log part of it, we could sell off part of it, and everything that we thought of that had anything to do with fragmenting it or logging it seemed to be an insult to my grandfather. So we decided as a family, primarily my father and my grandmother, to sell this property to the Nature Conservancy, which then transferred to state parks at a great loss. We sold it for pennies on the dollar. But the good thing is that it's still there, it's safe, and it's protected. And in fact, Zuhal and Matt were just on that property investigating forest canopy, climbing the old growth redwoods and studying the forest canopy there. So it's paying off that that's been protected. So this gave me from a very early age both a great love for the redwoods and for this region, and also a feeling that these forests really needed to be protected. I'd seen my grandfather sacrifice his life, in fact, to protect them, and felt that I wanted to, as much as possible, follow in his footsteps and do what I could to save what was left of these incredible forests.